Here we go. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Let's just unpack. Let's get into this Ed Reed, Bethune-Cookman battle. This drama, all the drama going on between the Hall of Famer Ed Reed and Bethune-Cookman University. All right. For those of you who don't know, he was recently let go after 25 days. After 25 days of being the head football coach of Bethune-Cookman, Ed Reed was recently let go just this past weekend. And just the overall watching the entire blowout of the situation, there's so many triggers, so many thoughts that come to mind, so many directions I can go. So because of that, I'm going to be strictly on what was said. I watched both interviews. I watched the interview from Ed Reed, and I watched the interview from the president who actually made a decision to fire him. All right. Let's start with the guy who fired him, the president of Bethune-Cookman. The president of Bethune-Cookman was asked why he hired him. And one of the reasons he gave, first of all, he gave three reasons. Number one was, when he did get hired, we'll just say it like this. When he did get hired, he said that he told Ed Reed three things. Number one, you're never been a head coach, so you have to put a staff together that can compliment you and compliment your name and all that stuff. Fair. Second, it was a Christian university, and you got to abide by a certain level, certain principles and things like that. Again, second thing, that's fair. Here's where he went wrong. The third reason that he gave for the third stipulation, the third condition that he gave for giving Ed Reed the job was that Ed Reed is financially successful, right? He has enough finances, and he said this in a roundabout way. He said, we're going to be depending on you, Ed Reed, to maybe offer some funds, or in so many ways. He said, we're gonna need some money from you. All right, the university is gonna be asking you for some money out of pocket, not the money that you were getting from sponsors. We're gonna be asking you, Ed Reed, to give up some of that cash for us and our whatever it is we need for the university. Again, Ed Reed is a millionaire. He's a Hall of Famer. He has resources. I can completely understand with why he was totally fine with getting that job. The problem, fine with that stipulation, fine with that condition. Problem is the fact that you would hire someone and then say that to them is kind of a disrespect, in my opinion. You're not hiring someone based on the fact that they could do the job. You're hiring someone based on the fact that they have the money, that they can supply your other needs and shit like that. So again, we'll be in a Christian university. I guess we'll just look past that. All right. Let's dive into why he was ultimately fired. The president is on record saying, we ultimately let him go. It was the thing he said the final straw, this is his words specifically. He said the final straw was his last video, and when he heard background music playing where it was booties, hoes, boobs, and all, and the reason he gave for that being a problem was the fact that they have a campus that's 65% women, all right, 65% women, and he, quote, end quotes, wants to raise or create a culture in which respects black women. We'll just cut it right there, because that's complete bullshit. So you mean to tell me, all right, let me gather my thoughts here. Here's the problem I have with that. Why is it, first of all, let's go back. Let me collect my thoughts. Let's go back. First of all, all right, when he said that, he also said, because I'm getting fired up. I've learned to calm myself down when it comes to hot topics like this. All right. He also said that he got calls from Disney, which is one of his major sponsors, asking him what is he going to do when Ed Reed put that video out, right? When Ed Reed put the video out, he said he got calls from Disney asking, what are you going to do about the situation, right? Now, I'm going to address the business part of it, then we'll get into the women part of it, the music and the lyrics part of it in a second, all right? First of all, if you get a call from Disney, which is one of your major sponsors, not saying that they want you to fire Ed Reed, they're asking you what you're going to do about it. Explain to me, and this is something that I would love to hear an opinion on. If you work for a university, if you are an employee for a university, or if you are on the Bethune-Cookman side, and by the way, I'm on this situation, I'm 100% with Ed Reed on this situation. I don't always do that, but in this situation, I really am. I feel where Ed Reed's coming from. I feel why Ed Reed is it has a lot of reasons to be very upset, all right? So if you get a call from Disney, which is your major sponsor, explain to me why you wouldn't just put the Disney rep on the phone with Ed Reed and then figure out after that conversation, once them two have that conversation, then you make a decision to either retain him or let him go. Why you wouldn't, someone that you have implied that you need money from, if you were going to bring him in this position, someone else who's giving you money as a sponsor in Disney, wouldn't it make sense for you to connect Ed Reed and Disney and just have them have a conversation and then get to the bottom of it and make sure there's no ill will or no horrible feelings? Why isn't that an option? That's number one. If someone can answer that for me, I'm 100% open, all right? Second thing, for you to use women and for you to use this bullshit excuse about how you're trying to raise a culture of black, why is it that why is it you would say, oh, we're trying to raise a culture that respects black women? Why the fuck isn't it, why don't you just say you're trying to raise a culture that respects women in general? All right, what is it? And I understand that it's an HBCU and all that kind of stuff, but the bottom line is the problem with when you disposition it by saying black women, you give off the feeling that black women are the only type of women that deserve to be respected, and it creates this lane, it creates this comfort zone, it creates this situation in which we give them a pass for the bullshit, some of the bullshit that there's some black women who don't deserve a certain amount of respect. Can we all agree to that? There's some black women who would listen to the song that Ed Reed was jamming to, and they'd be shaking their ass with it, they'd be putting the shit on Instagram, they'd be doing things in which they don't respect themselves. So there's some black women that don't deserve respect. There's some black women that do deserve respect. The bottom line is when you have presidents of universities saying stupid shit about, oh, we want them to respect black women, then what about all the other type of women? What about all of the women of different ethnicities and different colors? And when it comes to the real world, if you're really trying to get these college kids ready for the real world, then you have to get them away from them just being black, because when they leave this college, they're not just competing with black women. They're competing with every woman, every single person. And that has to be the mindset. That could be the reason. I'm just guessing. That could be the reason why the university is in the situation it's in, because they have people in leadership who are saying stupid shit like that and not saying, you know what, and not saying to themselves, you know what, Ed Reed can be a solution. Let's figure out, let's do everything in our power to retain him and keep him, because he clearly has stated he's apologized, he wants to be there. Let's try a little harder to keep him around so we can see a change. Instead, you get people who are in their power struggle, who are in their bullshit, and instead of putting him in touch with the people and all this stuff, you just decide, okay, I'm just gonna let him go. Just let him go. I'm gonna shut myself up. I will have more on this. Trust me, I'll have more on this. Just stay tuned for it. Dive deeper into this. When stuff like this comes up, it becomes uncontrollable. I'm sorry if I didn't sound as organized or as professional as I normally do, but stuff like this really drives me crazy, because again, as former football players, coaches, and all that stuff, this kind of stuff, it creates such a huge problem within our community. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.